Hey everybody, today I'm sharing an art journal spread. In that art journal from Action, I shared a bunch of pages already here on my channel, I think. I really love this journal for mixed media. It's cheap. The paper is thick enough to take a lot of stuff, but I'm not a fan of the surface itself, but I don't mind because usually I go on top with collage or gesso or matte medium or any kind of that. So it does not really matter what the surface looks like. I'm starting the spread with some bits of collage papers and I'm adhering them with a glue stick. I have a jelly print here, then that stamped book paper. I will not cover the whole page, just a few bits, and then I will cover the whole spread with a layer of clear gesso. I'm using the clear gesso from Liquitex and I'm covering the whole spread with a dough scraper, which is normally meant to be used in the kitchen, but I love it to make backgrounds or prime backgrounds with gesso or with matte medium. The clear gesso dries quite quickly, so I just lay that aside for a while until the background does not feel cold anymore, and then I come back and I will work on them on the page with my Neocolor crayons. I picked out some warm and soft tones in pink and yellow. I think I will not use all of them. I'm just going to play. The clear gesso is the perfect surface for the Neocolors. If you don't have Neocolors, you can also use, for example, the Stabilo Woodies or from Dina Wagley, the scribble sticks. Also, the distress crayons might work. They are, I feel, a bit more difficult to use because I personally create mud with them more easily on a gessoed surface than with the Neocolors. I'm applying the crayons dry and then I dip my finger into water to blend them. What I love about the Neocolors is that they are quite opaque and they cover up my background collage a little bit, so it only shines through the paint and gives me some interest and texture. I have my windows open and the frogs are singing from time to time. I hope it's not too loud. Not sure if you can hear them. I really love when the frogs are singing. I think it's so lovely and I always feel like I am on holidays. Unfortunately, they only sing around 2 months a year and only if we have warm weather. I added some white Neocolor here to push back that black stamping even more so it goes into the background, and I really like these textures showing through and I love the soft pastel colors on this page. I let my page dry before I come in with another layer. I'm not sure if it's dry in all areas, but it works much better when it's dry, and I'm scribbling in with some light blue color to bring in more interest and more textures, and I really love the scribbly lines. And I'm keeping that circular shape because I really like a circle as a layout of an art journal page. I think a circle is always very harmonic. I'm not a big fan of shapes with corners and hard edges, so I really like when something is round or cloudy. I go in with the same colors that I've used before, just with that blue, which is a bit of a complementary against the orange. And I'm adding in more white to bring in some white areas. That was the rooster in the background, not sure if you heard it. I'm also making some other marks with the crayons. You can just explore a bit and create with them, and I think this texture of the crayon is quite lovely. Here I'm going in with more scribbly marks with a normal pencil. I always have to remind myself not to overdo it, because I really love making these marks on a page and sometimes I'm not able to stop. I decided to go in with a darker blue. I really love this because it has kind of a violet shade in it, and it's perfectly as a complementary to the whole spread. And this just makes the colors pop even more. I don't add a lot of it, just a tiny little bit, because it's always good to have one as the main color scheme and then bring in some accents in complementary colors. I also love the light green. I think it just gives the page more energy. As the contrast of the page is quite low, I want to bring back the white even more and get a good coverage, and I'm using the Viaco Art Graf Tailor shape crayon here. It's a water-soluble kind of crayon, and it has the most opaque white I have ever seen in a watercolor medium. You could do something similar with a Neocolor as well, but the Neocolor is not as opaque as this white. What also will work if you just use white acrylic ink or some white acrylic paint if you don't have this kind of crayon. I also really like the different texture I get here with the brush instead of the application with the crayons themselves and with my fingers. It's just a different kind of mark making and brings in even more interest. I'm adding some splatters as well with the white, and I really like how this turned out, but I think I need a little bit of black, deep black, as a contrast against that background. And to bring that in, I'm using that text stamp. I think it's from the Mix It Up 4 stamp set with black ink. And I'm just touching the page here and there. I don't want to overdo it. I just want to have some accents. And I also plan to add something black within my focal image when I'm finishing up the page. I'm using StazOn for stamping because I'm working on that gessoed surface, and StazOn will dry super quickly, but it also dries very quickly on the stamp itself, so you have to stamp it quickly. And I just re-inked it to make a few more marks with it. Also with StazOn, you have to make sure to always have your stamp pad fully re-inked. You cannot work with a half full stamp pad, so I always recommend buying the re-inker directly with your stamp pad. It's not like a pen where the ink runs out and runs out. A stamp pad, is a foam, and it's filled with ink, and you have to, it's like a sponge a little bit. If you press into your sponge, you get the wetness, and the drier it gets, the less wetness you can get out of it. And it's the same with an ink pad. So keep your ink pad juicy to get a good stamp impression. And I stamped the image from the pencil marks 7 stamp set here directly to my page. I was a little bit afraid because it's always tricky to stamp directly a focal image to an art journal page, because if you mess up something, it might ruin the whole spread. But I just took the risk. I have these Collage Fodder pieces here. I made them some time ago with jelly prints and our stencils, and I will link up that video in the top right corner info card so you can have a look. I really love how they work on this Neocolor background. I think they are just perfect. And also the colors work beautifully with the whole spread. I'm using the glue stick to adhere them. It takes a while to dry because the glue stick has some open time, so you can remove stuff and put it somewhere else. So I have to press down the leaves a bit. I cut off the overlapping pits, and here I also stamp my sentiment directly to the page. I stamp it a few times with the same ink, so I get it in different shades. And I think it is a sentiment from the mixed sentiments. I will link up all the stamp sets I've been using today in the video description. I took out a gel print with matching colors for my page, and I'm just stamping the sentiment directly to it. And I will cut that out and then search for a nice place to adhere this to my art journal page. I was not sure where to put the sentiment, so I just laid it down in different places and had a look. I often look through my camera to see what I like the most. I think it always helps to look through the camera. I really liked it there, but I also think that then the bottom left corner is a bit empty with no words at all. So in the end, I decide to put the sentiment to that orangey leaf at the bottom. Yes, and that's my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave me a comment. And here I'm showing you a photo of the finished page. There are also photos over on our blog, and I will link that up in the video description, and maybe you would like to watch some of the other videos. I wish you a lovely rest of the day. Bye!